Hi, this is Katie from the Green Overdrive show, and as you can see, I'm not in a car and I'm not about to do a test drive for you, but I am about to tell you about my favorite things that we drove this year and some of my not so favorite things we drove. My favorite thing to drive for the Green Overdrive show in 2010 was the Tesla Roadster Sport. The difference between the Roadster Sport and the regular Roadster is I think the Roadster goes to 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds and the Roadster Sport goes 0.2 seconds, 0 to 60 faster than that. And it was fun to drive. And it was fun to drive with Kirsten Munson from Tesla because she is a really cool girl. As you saw in our clip, she showed us how to get in and out of the Tesla Roadster when we're going to the Academy Awards wearing a short skirt. And then we actually drove it down to Jay Leno's garage, where when we arrived up to the studio, he drove out to meet us on his Segway, which was a surprise and weird. The worst thing I drove was the WeGo that we drove at the LA Auto Show. And I felt kind of bad that I gave it such a bad review, but it was, a very prototype feeling car. It was tiny. It had this weird pause before it started accelerating and drove off. I think my words in the review were that it was janky, but I think the company knows that they're going to be producing those in really small volumes, and they're not going to be competing on a mainstream level with the big automakers. 2010 was a massive year for electric vehicles because it was the first time that big auto companies started to take the electric car market seriously, and they launched two major mainstream electric vehicles for average consumer. So that was GM launched the Volt and Nissan launched the Leaf. One of the most important things about this launch of these EVs is that they are mass-produced mainstream cars that feel like regular cars to drive. They don't feel like prototypes. The consumer doesn't really have to change their habits very much. It just feels like a regular mass-produced car. In 2011, I think that the electric vehicle market will start to kind of prove itself out. So right now, it's an experiment. So these big auto companies launched their inaugural mainstream EVs. And in 2011, everyone's going to see how well these cars do in the marketplace. So will the volumes keep coming in for the Leaf and for the Volt? And also, we'll see how well these cars perform on the roads. I think electric scooters are going to be massive, particularly because of China. China is this huge market for electric scooters right now. I mean, all the startups in California are selling them into China. People who buy them here are just buying them as a novelty, but people in China are buying them as their commuter vehicle. Electric vehicles are not just a fad, but I think it's not proven yet how successful they're going to be, and particularly how successful they're going to be in the short term. So I think it'll take maybe a decade before electric vehicles make any kind of dent in the consumer mainstream market.